So we have seen different physiological as well as the physiochemical factors for the semi-solid dosage form that can affect on our diffusion rate or affect on our penetration or the release patterns of the semi-solid dosage form. In that case, we have seen the physiological factors like skin condition, then presence of hairs, then layers of the skin, the age of the skin, and the physiochemical factors also we have seen regarding the molecular weight, then pH, partition coefficients, and all those physiochemical factors. So, in regarding with this, now we'll talk about the different ingredients that are required for the formulations of semi-solid dosage. So basically, when we are talking about the formulations of semi-solid dosage form, the formulation that doesn't mean only the process. So until last years, we have studied the small scale manufacturing process for the monophasic liquid dosage form. Now, if you see the syllabus, in each and every topic, they have said regarding the large scale manufacturing of whatever the suspension will be there, whatever the emulsion will be there, and as well as for the semi-solid also. So when you are considering the large scale manufacturing of any dosage form, you don't just want to consider its procedures, you have to consider all the formulation aspects, basically starting from the raw materials, then the process that you are following, and for that process, whatever the equipments that you have required or the instrument that you have required, that you have to mention under the large scale manufacturing process, along with the layout. Layout in the sense the working area where the actual process is carried out, where all the equipments are placed in a well manner, the space that required for the manufacturing process, filling process, packaging process, that all comes under the layout of your specific formulating area. So today we'll talk about the different formulation parameter, not parameters, ingredients, formulation ingredients that is used for the semi-solid dosage form. Today we'll mainly concerns about the base that we are using. So just first see what are the different ingredients that we have to use. So ingredients used for the formulating semi-solid, that first obviously your active pharmaceutical ingredients, as we know, basically semi-solid dosage form that are used for the three purpose: protective purpose, therapeutic purpose, and cosmetics purpose. So basically active pharmaceutical ingredients, we mainly concentrate upon those semi-solid dosage form that we are using for the pharmaceutical purpose. That means for the therapeutic purpose. So obviously, the active pharmaceutical ingredient that also you have to consider while selecting the or while preparing the semi-solid dosage form. Why it is so? Because as we have seen under the physiochemical factors, the molecular weight of your API that must be minimum so that we can easily carry out our delivery, or we can easily carry out our diffusion, or easily carry out our therapy to a semi-solid dosage form. Along with that, its hydrophilicity, its lipophilicity, the partition coefficient of that particular API, that also you have to consider. And that's why basically when you're selecting the API for the semi-solid dosage form, you have to consider one basically formula, we can say. Just first we list out what are the different ingredients that we are using for the formulating semi-solid dosage form. So apart from the API, you have to use the base. Base, that means they will act as a carrier for the semi-solid dosage form. Carrier in the sense, bases means these are the vehicles, like a monophasic liquid dosage form, we liquid water as a vehicle or any other solvent as a vehicle. For the biophasic also, for the emulsion, for the suspension also. So here basically these bases are act as a vehicle for the semi-solid dosage form where your API is incorporated. Means API is dispersed in that vessel, and that's why, as I have previously told you also, that semi-solid dosage form comes under the biphasic liquid dosage form. So we'll see what are the different types of bases there are for the uh, semi-solid dosage form. There are four types of bases are there: oleaginous bases, that is called as hydrocarbon bases, then water absorption base, water renewable base, and water soluble base. These are the four types of base are there. So that we are going to see in today's lectures also in detail what are their characteristics, in which conditions or in which formulations which type of base is used. and the comparison between these four types of bases that we are going to see. Now the base that is used for the ointment that are not same for your paste or the gel. So that for that purpose, there are some different bases. Okay, there are some similarities between those bases, but not all the bases we can use for the all the formulations. So selections of the formulation is very much selection of the base in the semi-solid dosage form is very much important. As I have already told you, in a cosmetics we don't require the penetration, but in a pharmaceutical dosage form you require the penetrations as well as the protections. So according to that you have to select the proper bases. Then the next base, sorry, next ingredients that is used for the semi-solid dosage form, that is the permeation enhancers, or sometimes it is called as the accelerant also, or the penetration enhancers also. So basically the name itself gives its meaning. The permeation enhancer, that means they enhance the permeation rate. Now permeation means what? When we are plotting the mass release or the mass difference, means once you apply one medicament on your skin, you have to carry out some release study. How that particular that particular ingredient or that particular API get diffused into the skin. So you have to carry out the steady state flux, or it is called the diffusion rate. So once you plot the diffusion, so you have to study the how drug get permeated into the body. So in that case, if you are using the permeation enhancer or the penetration enhancers in a specific formulation, so obviously they will enhance your diffusion rate. So that diffusion rate means what? So that is the time taken to release the medicament to the transdermal to the semi-solid dosage. बेसिकली when we are जसं आपण टॅबलेटला कन्सिडर करतो की टॅबलेट आपण डिझोल्युशन स्टडी कॅरी आउट करतो की किती वेळ घेतो डिझॉल्व्ह व्हायला आणि किती वेळ घेतो त्याच्यातून रिलीज करायला सेम दॅट परमिशन स्टडी यू हॅव टू कॅरी आउट. So suppose if any drug having some problem to release the medicament across the membrane, so in that case you can add the permeation enhancer. So in that particular cases when you are using the any permeation enhancers, it can modify the structures of the stratum corneum. As we have seen in last lectures also, stratum corneum, that is a rate limiting step or the rate barrier step for the semi-solid drug delivery system. So here that permeation enhancer can modify that particular layer, and we can enhance our permeation. So we'll see there are two types of permeation enhancers: chemical permeation enhancers or the physical permeation enhancers. These are the methods. So that also we are going to see in these lectures if we get a time for the permission enhancer, or else we can study the permission enhancers in the next lectures. Then another one important uh, ingredient that is used for the semi-solid process form, that is antimicrobial preservative. As we all know, what are the bases that we are using? All are the hydrocarbon in nature, or the hydrocarbon fatty acids or the oils are there that we are using for the base purpose. Along with that, it is a biophysics. So obviously, another one phase that will be your water. So obviously, there will be chances of the microbial contamination. So uh, those are the base that we are using, either oil, fat, or the waxes. They are more prone to the microbial contaminations. And to avoid that microbial contaminations, we have to add some antimicrobial preservative. So it will be means various types of preservatives are there that can incorporate in a semi-solid process form. Then another one ingredient, it is a humectant. So what is the role of humectant here? So humectant plays important role to maintain the moisture absorptivity of the semi-solid dosage form. Simple example, toothpaste. Toothpaste आपण ज्यावेळी अप्लाय करतो आणि जस्ट एक थोड्या वेळासाठी ठेवलं तर तिथे ड्राय पडायला सुरू होते, राईट. मीन्स फर्स्ट थोडाफार ड्रायनेस, थोडाफार वेटनेस असतो, तो कुठे ड्राय व्हायला सुरुवात होते. सो दॅट मीन्स their drying capacity getting lower. So to avoid that, we have to add some humectant. So humectant absorb the atmospheric moisture, atmospheric oxygen, and it will keep the formulation moist. So त्याच्यामध्ये कुठेही rigidity वाढत नाही, त्याची viscosity कुठेतरी maintain राहते. For that purpose, these humectants are incorporated. Then emulsifier, as already we know, it is a biophasic liquid, sorry, biophasic system, semi-solid dosage form. We are using the base which is in oil in nature, and sometimes we have to incorporate your solutions, your formulation in a solution form. So obviously there are two phases, and to get emulsified or to get stabilized, we require the emulsifier like in a emulsion. In emulsion, basically semi-solid dosage form are emulsions only because there are two phases, one is oil and one is water. So either that semi-solid dosage form means basically those are the creams. So the creams basically they are called as either O by W type of cream or W by O type of cream. So in this particular case, obviously you require some stabilizers to stabilize that both the phases, oil phases as well as the water phases. So that's for that purpose, this emulsifier or the emulsifying agents are used. So we'll say in detail about the emulsifiers, their classifications, and the selections of the emulsifier. Basically, selections of the emulsifier plays important role in the semi-solid process form also. Like emulsion, there are various methods. We have seen like HLB method is there, cloud point method is there, phase inversion temperature method is there. So depending upon that, we can select the proper emulsification or emulsifying agent for the semi-solid dosage form also. Along with that, the antioxidant. So obviously, the same thing, the base that we have incorporated in these particular formulations, they are in a hydrocarbon fatty acid chains are there. So obviously, they are more prone to the rancidity as well as the oxidation when it comes in contact with the oxygen or the environmental conditions. And to avoid the that oxidations, we have to add some antioxidants. So we'll see what are the different types of antioxidants, the selections of the antioxidants, how we are going to select or how they work. Basically, they are acting as a reducing agents. So whatever the oxygens that comes in contact with our formulations, they will get they prevent the oxidation process, and that's why they are called as the antioxidant. That name itself gives their importance in that particular formulations. Along with that, gelling agent, basically gelling agents that are required for not all semi-solid dosage form, but they are using for the gels only. So as we know, means gel it is also one of the semi-solid dosage form. So gelling agents, these are sometimes they we can use for the increasing the viscosity of the formulation, but especially gelling agents we are using for the gel purpose. So these are the polymers. So like a base you can using base we are using for the semi-solid dosage form. Like oleaginous bases will be there, water removable bases will be there, water washable bases will be there, or the water soluble base will be there. Here the gelling agents that are used for the gelling agent that are used for the basically for the gel preparations. These are the polymers. Carbomers are there that can be used for the gelling agents. You have to dissolve that in water so they will form the cross-linking polymer or the 3D structure polymer. If you are considering the structures of the cream ointments along with the gel, so you can easily identify that this particular gel having the different structures. They are the translucent or the transparent in nature as compared to the other dosage form. So for that purpose, these gelling agents are important for the gel preparations only, not for the ointment and not for the cream purpose. So that also we are going to see under the gel point selection of the gelling agents and how they form the gel, how they form the cross-link linking polymers. Okay, so these are the ingredients that is most commonly used for the most commonly used for the semi-solid formulation. So we'll talk about first the active pharmaceutical ingredients. So to select the active pharmaceutical ingredient, the selections of the drug which have the correct physiochemical properties to translocate across the barrier to acceptable rate. So we have to first determine the rate of that particularly whatever the drug we are selecting for the delivering through the semi-solid dosage form. So that particular rate means the diffusion rate that you have to study. And that's why while selecting the active pharmaceutical ingredients, there are various parameters you have to consider. First important thing, as I already said in last lectures also, it should have the low molecular weight. Low molecular weight in the sense it has less than 400 to 600 Dalton molecular weight. So that particles can easily cross the lipid membrane. So the selections of the API, which is depends upon their particle size also. So particle size, again the same thing, it must have the zero, the particle size of your active pharmaceutical ingredient must be below zero point 0.5 micron. Along with that, the aqueous solubility in both the phases, oil as well as the water phase, has to be maintained. So the concentration gradient, or uh, we can say the concentration of that particular formulation must be high. As we know, semi-solid dosage form, they have crossed their lipid membrane through the by the diffusion rate. So that we are going to see first. Along with that, as I already told in the last lecture, also its melting point. You should have the low melting points. So when you have mixed with any bases, you have to apply on a skin. So it can be melt at our body temperature, or it can be release their medicament easily. So basically, these first equations you have to consider while selecting the any semi-solid dosage form or the any active pharmaceutical ingredients. So that is dm by dt is equal to d C0k by h. So when you are plotting the cumulative mass diffusion or the diffusion study carried out, how the diffusion is carried out across the membrane, it is predicted with the help of this steady state flux uh, equations. Dm by dt, that is the steady state flux, or we can say the mass that is diffused at a specific time t. Means जेव्हा आपण एखादा सेमीसॉलिड डोसेस फ्रॉम स्किनवर अप्लाय करतो, जेव्हा आपण इन विट्रो स्टडी कॅरिड आउट करतो किंवा इन विवो स्टडी कॅरिड आउट करतो, त्यावेळी आपल्याला ड्रग किती डिफ्यूज झालाय अक्रॉस द मेम्ब्रेन हे आपल्याला आयडेंटिफाय करायचं असतं. सो इन दॅट केस, ज्यावेळी आपण एक स्पेसिफिक अमाऊंटचा मास असेल, सपोज 10 ग्रॅम किंवा सॉरी 1 ग्रॅम किंवा 2 ग्रॅम तुम्ही ड्रग घेतलाय किंवा फॉर्म्युलेशन घेतलं, तर 1 ग्रॅम किंवा 2 ग्रॅम मधलं ऍट अ स्पेसिफिक टाइम नंतर एक 10 मिनिटानंतर किंवा 20 मिनिटानंतर किंवा आफ्टर 1 or 2 hours, how much amount of drug get diffused uh, into the skin, that we have to study. So dm by dt means what? Dm means the mass, how much amount of mass you have taken to apply on your skin, and dt means in what time it is get diffused into the skin. Now here, these are the four different parameters that you have to consider. So basically they are interrelated with your diffusion rate. So first, D, that is stands for the diffusion coefficient. Now the diffusion coefficient means it is a steady rate at what your release pattern or the release of your drug or is carried out. C0, that is your concentration gradient. Concentration gradient in the sense the concentration present in your drug candidate. As I have already told you, higher the concentrations, the diffusion rate will be the higher. So it will be the directly proportional to your concentrations present. So that's why means जेवढं तुमचं concentration maximum असेल तेवढं तुमचा dm by dt or we can call it flux हा तेवढा max असेल. So that you have to consider while selecting the drug or selecting the dosage, not a dosage, so selecting the active ingredients and the concentration of active ingredients in that particular formulations. Then K, that is the partition coefficient. Now partition coefficient between the membrane and as well as the receptor phase. Receptor phase in the sense lipid की membrane आहे त्याच्यामधलं आणि तुमचं जे काही फॉर्म्युलेशन आहे त्याच्यामधला जो काही partition coefficient आहे, that we have to consider here, that is called as the partition coefficient, and h, that will be the thickness of your membrane. So obviously which will be the inversely proportional to the your diffusion rate. So जेवढी तुमची thickness कमी असणार आहे तुमचा diffusion rate काय होणार आहे, जास्त होणार आहे. जेवढी तुमची thickness membrane ची जास्त असणार आहे तेवढं तुमचा diffusion rate हा कमी होणार आहे. So to modify this thing, so we can consider here this d, that is the diffusion coefficient, that will remains the constant throughout the process. It will not be changed. It will only change once you added any penetration enhancer or if you are applying any external forces to deliver your medicament. Means either you are using the physical methods or either you can using the chemical methods, then only your diffusion coefficient will be the change. Now once you prepare the formulations, your concentration gradients will not be changed, it will remain the constant only. Same the things, your partition coefficient will not be changed. कारण जेव्हा तुम्ही एकदा एखादं फॉर्म्युलेशन प्रिपेअर केलं असेल त्यावेळी या सगळ्या गोष्टी चेंज होणार नाहीये. चेंज कधी होणार आहे, ज्यावेळी तुम्ही एखादी गोष्ट मॉडिफाईड करा, कॉन्सन्ट्रेशन मॉडिफाईड करा. ऑब्विसली जर कॉन्सन्ट्रेशन वाढलं, तुमचं डिफ्युजन तेवढं फास्ट होणार आहे. डिफ्युजन फास्ट झाल्यावर ऑब्विसली तुमचं जे काही स्टेडी स्टेट फ्लक्स आहे किंवा जो तुमचा डिफ्युजन रेट आहे तो तुमचा रॅपिड होणार आहे. सेम पार्टिशन कोएफिशियंट पण तुमचं रिमेन कॉन्स्टंट राहणार आहे, कारण ते चेंज होणार नाहीये. तुमचं जे काही पार्टिशन कोएफिशियंट बिटवीन द मेम्ब्रेन ऍज वेल एज युअर फॉर्म्युलेशन दॅट विल रिमेन द सेम. अँड द थिकनेस, एकदा अप्लाय केल्यावर तुमचा थिकनेस कुठेही चेंज होणार नाही. So to modify that thickness, again the same thing, you can use the permeation enhancers. They can modify the stratum corneum either physically or the chemically. They can, when you are incorporating the permeation enhancers in the formulations, they can enhance the partition coefficient between the two layers also. So that's why selecting the base along with the selections of the permeation enhancer, that plays the important role for the selections of the drug candidate as well. So these are the something that you have to consider. So we'll go back to the same slide again. So when we are selecting the active pharmaceutical ingredients, so there are some points you have to consider while selecting the active pharmaceutical ingredients. That is one thing, its molecular weight. It should be less than 600 Dalton, or it should be in range of the 400 to 600 Dalton. Its particle size, it should be minimum. It should be below 0.5 micron, so it can be easily cross your lipid membrane. Second one, it must have the adequate solubility in oil as well as the water, so that the membrane concentration gradient may be the high. So the डिसोल्युशन जास्त असेल तुमचं कॉन्सन्ट्रेशन पण तेवढंच जास्त होणार आहे, आणि जेवढं तुमचं कॉन्सन्ट्रेशन जास्त असणार आहे तेवढं तुमची डिफ्युजिव्हिटी ही जास्त असणार आहे. सो फॉर दॅट पर्पज द सोल्युबिलिटी, aqueous solubility, or not aqueous, adequate solubility of active pharmaceutical ingredients or the API or the drug candidate, that you have to consider. Along with that, it must have the optimal partition coefficient. Just now I have explained through that particular steady state flux equations how these four factors, or these four factors can affect on your diffusion rate. Your diffusion constant, then second one, that is the concentration gradient, third one the partition coefficient, and fourth one, that is the membrane thickness. So these are the four factors that can affect on your diffusion state. So that you have to consider while selecting or while preparing the semi-solid dosage form. Along with that, the melting point that you have to consider, it should be low, so that it can be there are two advantages. It can be easily melt, and obviously once it is melt, it can be easily soluble into the membrane. Mostly polymorphic forms that can be preferred in while selecting the active pharmaceutical ingredients. Uh, Here one disadvantage is that we cannot use the charged molecules. So if you are using the charged molecule for the delivery purpose, you require to add some other methods. So mostly for the charged molecule, we can use the iontophoresis method. So in that method, you can apply the small amount of current over the formulations, and those the charged molecules, they are forced to cross the stratum corneum, or they are forced to cross the barriers, and it will go to systemic circulation. So these are the some conditions that uh, you have to consider while selecting the active pharmaceutical ingredient. So basically, when anyone asks regarding the selections of the API for the semi-solid dosage form, just remember that steady state flux situation where you can identify the factors. So that factors जे आहेत त्याच्यामध्ये की जे तुम्हाला सिलेक्शन रिप्रेझेंट करते, कसं सिलेक्ट केला पाहिजे एखादा API फॉर द सेमी सॉलिड डोसेज फॉर्म. So remember that equations also. If you want to write down, you can write down here dm by dt is equal to dc0 k divided by h. D, that is stand for the diffusion coefficient, c0, that is stand for the concentration gradient or the difference in concentrations, k, that is stands for the partition coefficient between the membrane and the receptor phase, and h, that is the thickness of the head. So this is the selection criteria for the API. Now we'll see the another one important, or the most important ingredients for the semi-solid dosage form, that is the ointment base. As I have already discussed, there are four types of ointment bases are there. One is oleaginous basis or the hydrocarbon basis. Second one, that is the water absorption base. third one water soluble base, and fourth one that is a water removable base. At its name, they have given their function. Water soluble means those bases in which our formulating agents or the APIs can be solubilized or the water solubles, and we can incorporate it in that base. Water removable, that can remove easily. Water washable, that can be easily washable. So as I said, basically vehicles used for the semi-solid dosage form, they are act as a carrier. Carrier in the sense our APIs are dispersed or dissolved, not a dissolved, they are dispersed into that particular basis. So they are called as the vehicles here. But again the same thing, as we know semi-solid dosage form performing the three functions, that is then protective functions, then uh, pharmaceutical functions and the cosmetic functions. So the base that we are using for uh, pharmaceutical purpose and the cosmeceutical purpose, that are the different, because in a cosmetics we don't require the penetrations, we just require some protective layers, or we just require the decoration for decorative purpose, that that particular cosmetics will remains intact on your skin for the longer durations of time. But when you are considering the pharmaceutical semi-solid dosage form, we require some penetrations, so that that particular API can reaches to the systemic circulations and we can get the benefit of uh, that medicament. So here the selections of API is very much important. So in pharmaceutical semi-solid dosage form, the therapeutic efficacy that you have to consider. So as I have said, these are the four types of bases are there. So depending upon their solubility and the stability of the drug in the base, as well as the nature of the skin on which we are applying the base, depending upon that we can select the proper ointment base. So we'll see what includes. So semi-solid bases do not only act as a carriers of the medicament, but they also control the extent of absorptions of medicament incorporate therein. So basically, they are not only act as a carrier, but the release patterns of the medicament or the absorption control, we can say, that is also depends upon the selections of the base, because if you are using the oleaginous basis or the hydrocarbon basis or the auto absorption basis, so the release patterns again the varies. सिंपल थिंग जे आपण कॉस्मेटिक्स अप्लाय करतो, कॉस्मेटिक्स आपण इझिली रिमूव्ह करू शकतो विथ द हेल्प ऑफ द व्हॉट एव्हर द रिमूव्हर्स आर देयर. सेम थिंग जेव्हा आपण एखादं फार्मास्युटिकल अप्लाय करतो, सो द रिलीज पॅटर्न्स विल बी द चेंज, कारण त्याच्यामधून हा ड्रग हा कुठेतरी तुमचा पेनिट्रेट होतो तुमच्या स्किन मध्ये, तो तुमच्या कॉस्मेटिक्स मध्ये रिलीज होत नाहीये, कारण त्याच्यामध्ये आपण कोणत्याही ड्रग कॅन्डिडेट युटिलाइज करत नाही, ओनली दे आर युटिलायझेशन for the cosmetics appealing purpose that we are using all the cosmetics. So the release control or the control of the extent of the release absorptions is also based on the selections of the base. Then an ointment base should be compatible with the skin. It should be stable, smooth, non-irritating, non-sensitizing. It should be inert, so it should not be alter the activity of your API. It should be capable of absorbing the water or other liquid preparations and of the releasing the incorporated medicament radially. So these are the some properties they have given here for the semi-solid dosage form. A semi-solid dosage form, that ointment base should possess these basic properties, that it should be compatible with the skin, because if you are considering the skin conditions, so not there is not a equal skin conditions each and everyone possesses, so the base must be compatible with the skin, some of having the dry skin, some of having the oily skin. So depending upon that, you can select the proper base. The stability that must be considered while selecting the base. So the solubility and the stability of the drug in the base, as well as the nature of the skin, uh, has to be determined while selecting the base also. Obviously, it should be non-irritating, non-sensitizing. Means once you apply it over the skin, there must not be any side effect of that base also. Sometimes it will causes some irritation, some sensitization problems will occur. So that must be not present in that particular ointment base. and it should be capable of absorbing water and other liquid preparation. So it can be easily formed a smooth and a stable and a consistent formulations for the semi-solid dosage form. Then when we are formulating the ophthalmic formulations, means we have some eye drops are there or some you can say the eye applicaps are there that we are using for the eye preparations, that must be non-irritating to the eye and it should be sterilized conveniently. So basically all the ophthalmic formulations are sterilized, have to maintain the sterility because we are applying onto the eye, into the eye sac. So as we know, eye which is a very delicate part of our body. So all the formulations which is prepared for the ophthalmic purpose, they has to be prepared in a sterilized form. So these are the selection criteria for the ointment base. So it must have the desirable release rate of the drug substances from the ointment base, rate and extent of the topical or the percutaneous drug absorptions. It must have the desirability of occlusions of the moisture from the skin. So it must form some occlusive membrane or the occlusive layers over the skin once it is applied, like a vanishing cream. Vanishing cream, once you apply on your skin, after some times it will get vanished. But during after the vanishing, it will leave some residue over your skin. So that will leave one layer on your skin. So that particular occlusive layer, so that can be helpful for the entry and exit of your exogenous matter present inside the skin. Means obviously it blocks the exits. So whatever the amount of drug that can be only goes to the your goes to the systemic circulations. It will not be outside. It means exit will not be there as they will form one layer. Again, the stability of the drug, the ointment base that you have to consider. So again, the effect of the drug on the consistency of the base. So selections of the drug, that is the important thing, and along with that, second thing, the selection from the proper base. After that, easy removal of the base on washing. So washability must be there. It should not be remains over intact time. It must be removed after some time, and the characteristics of the surface to which it is applied. So the dependence selections of the ointment base depend upon these particular following characteristics. So important things that you have to consider while selecting the base, that is its release rate, desired release rates of the drug substance from the ointment base, that has to be considered because on the basis of that only your release study or we can say the release of the medicaments which will carry it out. Along with that, the stability of the base and the compatibility of that base with your API. So that base should not alter their activity, should not be altered with the physiochemical sorry, yeah, pharmacological activity of your drug candidate. Along with that, it should not be altered their pharmacokinetic activities also. So these are the some selection criteria we can say for the ointment base. So they are classified in several ways, but the following classification based on the compositions that is generally used. So there are four types of bases. First is oleaginous bases, or we can call it the hydrocarbon base. Second one, absorption base. Third one, that is the emulsion base, or we mostly call it the water removable base. And third one, that is a water soluble base. Okay, so these are the four type of base that we are going to discuss under the base sections. So I think time is running now. So we'll stop here. We'll see detailed study of all the bases in our next lectures. Okay. Uh, so what we have covered in today's lecture, that we have covered the selections of API. So while selecting the API, you have to consider this formula, that is dm by dt is equal to d0 c0 k by h with a steady state flux, concentration gradient, partition coefficient, diffusion coefficient, and the membrane thickness. These are the four you can say the parameters that can affect on your diffusivity. So these are the things that you have to study for the selections of, or you have to consider while selecting the active pharmaceutical ingredients, and we have seen the characteristics for selections of the base also. So detailed study of base that we'll study in a next lecture. So we'll stop here.